The town of Berlin. Country charm at the center of Connecticut.
Okay, so let's call this our public meeting to order. What we have to start first will be the, well, Betty already checked off our names, right, Betty? We're good? Okay. And now we need if I could get a nomination for election of a moderator.
I nominate Mayor Mark Kaczynski.
Okay. Thank you. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations, and then I'll read this before we vote on that. Eligibility to vote. Any person who is an elector of such town and any citizen of the United States of the age of 18 years or more, who jointly or severally, who is liable to the town for taxes assessed against him or her on an assessment of not less than $1,000 on the last completed grand list of such town, reference Connecticut General Statute, Section 7-6. So with that, if I could have all in favor of the moderator?
Aye.
Aye.
All of you. Thank you very much. And if the clerk could read the legal notice?
A special meeting of the electors and citizens qualified to vote in town meetings of the town of Berlin will be held at the Berlin Town Hall, Council Chambers, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut, on Tuesday, May 16, 2017, at 6:45 p.m. for the following purposes. 1. To obtain approval of the non-budgeted appropriations of Aerosource and UI rebate in the combined amount of $335,618 and appropriate to identified expenditure accounts. 2. To obtain approval of the non-budgeted appropriation of State of Connecticut grant increases in the combined amount of $6,264.79 and appropriate to identified expenditure account. Dated at Berlin, Connecticut, the 4th day of May, 2017. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kate. If I can ask for the first resolution, motion?
It's right there in front of you.
Move it?
Just,
So moved.
all right. And I'll read it. Resolved that an appropriation as requested by the interim town manager in accordance with Section 7-10 of the Berlin Town Charter of $335,618 Eversource and United Illuminating rebate to the identified expenditure accounts as follows: $102,500 highway, that's for the dump truck; $91,000 schools, site and building; $28,029 technology, computer equipment; $13,089 technology systems equipment; $30,000 public building contract services; $30,000 fire marshal vehicle; $20,000 public works MUTCD; $15,000 Public Works Recycling Center, and $6,000 police for tasers. So, could I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? All right, so moved. Thank you. So can I have a resolution, a motion on the second resolution?
So moved.
Okay, second on that? Or let me, go ahead, a second, I'll read it.
Second.
All right, I'll read it. It is the resolution that resolved that an appropriation as requested by the interim town manager in accordance with Section 7-10 of the Berlin Town Charter of $6,264.79 State of Connecticut grant increases to the identified expenditure accounts as follows: $6,250 youth grant, and this is a big one, folks, $14.79 to the local prevention council grant. I hope they're very creative with that one. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. There being no other business to come before the town meeting, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's call our meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Kate?
Councilor Campanelli?
Here.
Councilor Evans?
Here.
Mayor Kaczynski?
Here.
Councilor Letty?
Here.
Councilor Pignessa?
Here.
Councilor Pat? Councilor Raffle?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, so we have our audience of citizens. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak in the audience of citizens? Yes, sir. Step right up. Don't be shy.
Len Zielinski, 24 Winesap Road, speaking as the chairman of the Park and Rec Commission. I just want to bring to the council's attention that we have at the golf course a pass called or rates and passes for non-resident taxpayers. And because people like to complain and to arc, we've had some people which we're going to be turning down for passes. The pass has two criteria. One, you have to pay $1,000 in taxes, and two, you have to be eligible to vote in a Berlin referendum. Now, the eligibility to vote is defined in Connecticut General Statute 7-6, which says is a person 18 years or older. Now, the particular instances that we're running into, the taxes are being paid in town, but all the taxes are being paid by legal entities. We have one individual who has property tax by an LLC, real estate tax, I should say, property tax by a PC, and two vehicles owned by the PC is paying taxes. So based on that, that individual is not personally paying any taxes, it is the legal entity. So we had a discussion at our last Park and Rec meeting, and these people have been denied the ability to get a resident rate either on daily play or season pass basis. Now this is part of our rate structure that's presented every year, and it's been in there for a while. So I am not attempting to engender any discussion, but just kind of an informational point here. But if you have any questions.
Well, I just have one that's come to mind. A legal entity. So what if things were in a trust? That wouldn't change anything, would it?
That's a legal entity.
So what if the trust is owned by a resident of town?
If they can vote in a referendum,
Oh, okay.
they're out. That's the
Okay.
key point that we're using.
Yeah.
All right, just
The voting.
for your information.
The
right.
voting. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
I would think. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyone else in the audience of citizens? Seeing no one, we will close that and we'll move on to our consent agenda. If everyone has read the consent agenda, I would take a motion.
Motion to accept the 5 items on the consent agenda tonight.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Thank you. Number 1, Mr. Healy.
Number 1, the schools have, as we've talked about before, made an application for getting a grant for $250,000 for construction of vestibules at 4 schools. So we're requesting that you give us authorization to retain the service of Joe Fozzi to begin preparing bond documents so that we can, for the construction of those vestibules.
Okay, great.
And Kevin Delaney is here, and Eva Gallup is here to discuss any questions you have.
Okay. Let's make a motion first.
Okay, move to authorize the interim town manager to retain the services of Joseph Fozzi LLC to prepare authorization documents for the construction and other related costs for the security vestibules at Griswold, Hubbard, and Willard Elementary Schools and the McKee Middle School, and to authorize the interim town manager to schedule and advertise for Tuesday, June 6th, 2017 at 7 p.m. to hold a public hearing on an ordinance entitled An Ordinance Appropriating $500,000 for the construction of security vestibules at Griswold, Hubbard, and Willard Elementary Schools and McGee Middle School, and authorize the issue of $500,000 of bonds to the town to meet said appropriation, and then pending issuance thereof, the making of temporary borings for such purpose.
Okay, thank you. Second on that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, just have a question on the timing. I see that there's a rate change after June 30th. Do we have to expend the funds by that time, or just have obtained the bond authorization by that time frame?
If you're referring to,
Reimbursement rate.
the reimbursement rate, no, I have to have the applications in by that time, so the bond authorization piece is the final piece that I need before I can apply for. And as long as I apply for the 4 grants before June 30th, we get that reimbursement rate.
And so if we have it at this, the hearing at this next meeting scheduled, and then consider it the following meeting, it will still meet the time frame?
Yes. hmm
Okay, I didn't know. I want to make sure we didn't bump up with that too badly, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Number 2.
Number 2, the Park and Recreation Commission has recommended approval of a donation of a round of golf for 4 and 2 carts at Timberland Golf Course to be used as a raffle prize during the Berlin High School Band Parents Association Jazz and Pizzazz event. And John Zuck is here in case there's any questions.
Okay, great. Motion on this?
Move to approve a donation of a round of golf for 4 and 2 carts to be used as a raffle prize during the Berlin High School Band Parents Association Jazz and Pizzazz event. The event will be held at Burnham High School on Saturday, June 3rd from 6 to 9. The total value of the donation is $226.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. 3.
Number 3, Timberland Golf Course has talked with Golf Now Marketplace, a Golf Channel's tee time website and internet, largest and most comprehensive online tee reservation service. Timberland Golf Course is looking to enter into a contract with them so that people can go online and schedule tee times, certain tee times at the Timberland course. John Zuck is here to discuss and answer any questions.
Okay. Let's just do a motion first, and then we can
No
ask a
problem.
question.
Move to approve the Golf Now barter system, allowing Golf Now access to 1 tee time per day each weekday during the months of May through September at Timberland, which will then allow Timberland to access the Golf Now marketplace.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. So what do we get? We get good stuff, I gather,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Good.
Golf Marketplace is part of the Golf Now system, booking system, and Golf Now is actually owned by the Golf Channel. If you watch any golf on TV, I'm not sure many of you do, but you will see many commercials for the Golf Channel and Golf Now for that matter. And Golf Now is the largest online booking tee time system in the country. They booked I believe over 2 million tee times last year. And just in the New England area, they booked over 100,000 tee times. What this does, it gives us much greater exposure than what we have with our current website, obviously because of the greater advertising ability that the Golf Now does have. And I've also listed the courses currently that are involved in the Golf Now program, many of their area courses. And what they're looking for, if someone was looking to go play a golf course in the area, they would go to the Golf Now website, and if they're in the area or within a 25-mile radius, I believe, of Timberland would pop up with an advertisement, course information, directions to the golf course rating, and for being on the Golf Now marketplace, what they're looking for is to barter 1 tee time per weekday for the months of May through September. May through September. And I've also attached a tee time utilization sheet onto the agenda item, which also shows that currently during that time frame, we have 38 tee times available. 23 of those tee times, average utilization of those tee times, we're booking 23 of those tee times, which leaves approximately 15 tee times still available for booking. So if we were to barter 1 tee time away from that 15, we're not really hurting ourselves, so to speak, in a revenue sense. And if Golf Now were to book one tee time for us, that we break even at that point. And we have the ability to go on the Golf Now website to see how many tee times are actually booked through Golf Now. So there is a tracking system on this also.
Okay, and I see there's no billing fee or anything for
No.
this. It's just the barter system, whatever we do with that. Okay. Any other questions?
Sure. Jonathan, did you check any of these other golf courses to see what their hit rate was using this application?
Actually, no, I did not.
Okay.
But I do know that one of the individuals that does work for us, he does see, for instance, Stanley come up often on his cell phone. Will say, Stanley, 1 o'clock tee time available for $27. That's what Golf Now will try and do. They'll try and sell that one tee time that we're bargaining with them at the maximum that they can get for that tee time.
Okay, so it's an app based too, so it
Oh,
goes
absolutely.
right to someone's cell phone.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So question. Is this the potential to scavenge existing slots, or is this really bringing in new? And then what's the value proposition so that, or the hook that would get them to come back and pay us rather than going through them? Or would they still go through that network and book another time that may not be one that we bartered? Is that the thought?
There's Golf Now will only have one tee time to barter from Timberland. So if somebody were to, I guess, get lucky enough to barter that tee time or get that tee time from Golf Now, they'd be able to use that. But in the future, if someone were to go to Golf Now to book a tee time, and this barter system that tee time was already used, let's say, they would be purchasing a tee time directly from Timberland, just using Golf Now as the platform to get to Timberland, basically.
And then they would take a small fee off of that for
No
booking that?
fee at all. No,
'Cause
that
they
would be
took a
just with the barter
right?
system.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if they were to buy food or drinks or whatever while they go there, that's not included in any of
No,
this, so that's
no.
revenue for.
That's revenue for the restaurant. Yes, correct.
Cool.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Anybody else?
Just a follow-up question then. What gives them the incentive to do another one? Say, yeah, I've discovered this, now I've been golfing at Timberland, so now I'm gonna go through this process and get one here. Is it more expensive going through that avenue than if they were to pay directly?
No, actually they might be able to get a better deal through Golf Now, but again, that's only one tee time that's available. All the other tee times that are listed on the Golf Now site are actually our tee times. So they would pay whatever we're charging for to book the tee time. If it's $50, they would pay $50. And what Golf Now does is they'll try and get $50 7 days in advance. As it gets closer, what Golf Now does is they start the dynamic pricing. It starts to go down slightly to try and entice people to book that one tee time that they have from us. But it still lists all of our tee times that are available.
Yeah. I think what was mentioned here, checking with the other ones and what has increased, is there any way to tell whether, obviously, if they book through there again and it's not the bartered one, we'll be able to track that. And so that information was not available is that possibly available from some of these other courses?
I'm sure I could probably talk to Golf Now or the golf courses themselves and find out.
And what's the commitment for?
It would be just for this year, yes, that's correct. And
should
we're
be
not,
able-
I'm sorry.
So you should be able to get some track time and understanding
Absolutely.
of that, as well as compare with notes with others. Okay.
Yep.
Be helpful when we see revenue, or when we see the fee rate structure for next year, as well as budget season, to understand your revenue part of this and whether it has an impact on it or not.
And we will be able to track how many of those tee times were booked through Golf Now. And again, it's a conduit from Golf Now to us. Basically, that's what they act as.
So this is just the tee time, it's not the golf carts or?
It is. It's a tee time. It's a 18 holes and a cart.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. For how many people?
That would be for 4 people. One tee time basically is what it would be.
So it's basically the same amount as this, okay.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, motion on the floor, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Thank you, John.
Okay, item number 4. the
Golf
village-
night tonight, huh? It's golf night.
Lot of golf,
A lot of
yeah.
golf tonight.
Good weather.
Beautiful weather.
The village organization is holding their 7th annual foursome for Fatherhood Golf Classic at Shuttle Meadow Golf Country Club. As part of that, they are requesting a donation of a round of golf for 4 and 2 carts to be used as a raffle prize during their event.
Gary, can I have a motion on this?
Move to approve a donation of a round of golf for 4 and 2 carts to be used as a raffle prize during the village organization's 7th annual foursome for Fatherhood Golf Classic on Monday, June 12th, 2017. And the event will be held at Shuttle Meadow Country Club. The total value of the donation is $226.
Second.
Second.
Questions?
Just
Yes.
another question for Mr. Zook. The commission is, the Park and Rec Commission must have indicated this, that it had a high probability of increasing Timberland's exposure along with increasing revenue. How do you intend to measure that? I've heard previously from the commission that the utilization of some of these is actually not 100%. Even though we give some of these away, we don't use 100% of these also, right?
That's correct. Yes, we do not use, or 100% are not, we should say redeemed, I guess. And when this item did come up last year, one of the commissioners had stated that there's some of the people that are attending this function are somewhat, I don't know, maybe you could, Donovan, she had said that there's some of the people that are attending this event are somewhat powerful or important people, I guess, would be the way to put it, I guess.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you do kind of surveys as people book tea times or whatever that say, where did you hear about this? I mean, that's a way to measure it. I'm just, supposition's great, and possibility's great, but is there any way to really measure it? And I'd encourage that if there is.
We definitely will attempt to do that with our donations that are going forward.
Yeah, you'd have to do something there at the course when you book a tea.
Yes.
Hey, how'd you hear about us? And keep track of it. A little extra work, but it also help you tell whether these things are working or not, rather than just throwing something on the wall and hoping it works. A little more indication of that. Again, let's grow revenue the best we can, but there's got to be ways that we can track that something's sticking and working and improving. I don't have a problem with this, but I'm just looking to see how we can improve it.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right. Motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Item number 5 is to appoint Lucy Gajewski as the interim revenue collector. As the council is aware, Dave Gajewski left the town of Berlin in February. Since that time, Lucy's been the leading the revenue collector's office, and therefore we're requesting that we appoint her as the interim revenue collector until such time, either till November or such time that we hire a replacement for Dave Gajewski. Kevin Delaney is here to answer any questions.
Okay. Give a motion on this.
Move to appoint Lucy Gajewski interim revenue collector, retroactive to February 27th, 2017 through the end of November 2017, and pay her a stipend of $350 per week for the period of her appointment.
Second on that.
Second.
Discussion. Any questions for Mr. Delaney?
Mayor, just a question in general, and I'm not sure if I missed this, but do we need to indicate if it is shorter period than November 27th, 2017? Is that implied, or do we need to state that explicitly?
Did I skip that?
Yeah,
We
or
can
when the
add that
revenue
in.
collector
We can-
position is filled.
Yeah,
I didn't know
because
if
it may
that
be
was
shorter,
a
right?
parenthetical
Mr.
not required, or we should include that.
Or when the
Mr. Healy,
position
we
is filled.
we can say that, like, it might be shorter.
It may be
Pot-
shorter,
pot-
yeah. And that's what,
potentially.
I believe that's what we intended when we said, or when the revenue collector
Okay.
Yeah,
position is
right.
filled.
I skipped that by accident.
That would be when it would terminate.
You want me to read that again?
Yeah, that's why you didn't read that part. That's what happened. No wonder why. Now we
Okay.
get it. Yeah.
Move to amend the motion. Is that
Move
the
to amend the
proper-
motion to include or when the revenue collector position is filled.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Second on the amended
Second.
motion? All right, thank you. Any other questions? Letting Mr. Delaney off very easy tonight, huh? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 6.
Item number 6 is to request authorization to conduct the request for qualifications process for the future sale of 903 and 913 Farmington Avenue and a portion of 889 Farmington Avenue as part of the Train Station Boulevard, and appointment of an RFQ advisory committee. We discussed this at the last council meeting, and we said that it was advisable to go out to get RFQs and evaluate them at that time.
Yeah, we had a little discussion last time, and remember, we had heard from Civic Moxie, and they had some recommendations. Obviously, we all have our own thoughts on there. Everybody in town has a lot of thoughts. They attended a lot of the public hearings with Civic Moxie. So remember, all this is going to do is put it out there in the marketplace. Hopefully, we get some developers in there with some thoughts on what they may or may not do, and there is absolutely no commitment of anything on the town of Berlin's behalf, and it just will give us perhaps some thoughts on how we can go forward with this parcel. So it's not going to eliminate anything that may or may not go there, and it's not going to tie us to anything that they say that they want to do there. So it's just we'll be able to evaluate whatever happens. So let's do, there's 2, 3 motions. The only thing I would ask is, first motion is fine. That second motion on the boulevard, I had a conversation with Mr. Mahoney today a little bit about the boulevard. I would actually like, I know we had some different thoughts on the boulevard, rather than endorse that right at this moment, based upon their modified draft here. He was going to, either he will or he'll get with Chris Edge in the next couple of meetings. I just wanted to hear a little bit more about the boulevard and whether we endorse it now. I mean, he said it really didn't matter if we endorse it now or later, because we're not committing to anything that comes in on this RFQ anyway. But
Yep.
I would like to leave that off for now till we hear a little bit more.
Move to table it? Is that
Yeah.
what we
So
would do?
let's just before we do. So let's just move to table motion number 2. Can we have a motion on that?
Motion to table.
Just take
I don't think it's a table.
Huh?
Just take no
Just
action.
take it
Just
off.
take no
Take no
action.
action.
Yeah, I was gonna
No
say,
action on the
Take
second.
no
that's
action.
what I was asking. Do we
Table
table it,
we
or
have
do
to
we?
take it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, move to take no action on.
You don't have to do anything.
we don't have to.
Let it
We just
die.
take no
Got
action on. That's what
Got
I.
it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So that's
Just
the
wanna
only
make it official.
issue, and we'll get some more info on that. But
Good idea.
all right. So motion.
Okay, move to appoint an RFQ committee for 889, 903, and 913 Farmington Avenue to conduct a request for qualifications process to recommend a preferred developer for the site. The committee will consist of the following members: the chairman of the EDC, an additional representative of the Economic Development Commission, the interim town manager, the director of development services, an economic development director.
Okay. Second on that.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And the second motion.
Move to direct the interim town manager to continue to evaluate alternatives for addressing the space needs of the police station.
Okay. Second on that.
Second.
Any discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
7.
Item number 7 is to seek authorization to enter into a contract with Cardinal Engineering for consulting service related to the streetscape number 2. We have a steep grant for $500,000. There was a committee who obtained proposals from several consulting firms. They were interviewed. Cardinal Engineering was selected from that group. Cardinal Engineering has done work for the Water Pollution Control Authority, and also has done bridge design for the town of Burnham before. So we're requesting that you would give us approval to enter into a contract with them. As part of this, they are going to conduct an entire survey of the area so that we have a full survey of that area prior to doing the design.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully, we all know what happened with the last improvement there on Main Street. So hopefully, we will proceed a little bit more cautiously and get some information.
As
And not
part-
that we didn't last time. I mean, I really wasn't on the council then, but I know I've certainly heard about it now. But so right, is that
As part of this,
Yeah.
we talked with Cardinal. The very first thing we're going to do is hold a meeting with the with all of the businesses in the area
Right.
down at the Kensington Pizza. Sit down, talk with them, and talk about what's good about what's there and what they don't like what's there, and then start from there.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So let's make a motion on this.
I will move to authorize the interim town manager to enter into a contract and change orders with Cardinal Engineering for an amount not to exceed $40,200 for the Main Street Streetscape Improvements Phase 2 account.
Second.
Second.
Any other discussion on this? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Number 8.
Item number 8 is to the Public Works Department solicit proposals for catch basin cleaning. We clean most of the catch basins in town every year. That's also in the future going to be required as part of the new stormwater regulations. We received 2 bids, one from Shaw and the other one from Highway Catch Basin Cleaning. Shaw was the low bidder. They have been the low bidder previously also. And so we're requesting approval of Shaw as the contractor for catch basin cleaning this year.
Okay, second on this?
Second.
I'm sorry, motion first, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would help,
Jeez.
wouldn't it?
Second, what
We're not
Mr.
trying to
Ruddy's
rush
going to
this
say
meeting.
here in a moment.
Move
We're
to
not trying to
Apologies.
rush the meeting, are we?
Move to approve utilizing Shaw Vac Services LLC for the purpose of catch basin cleaning at the unit price of $18.50 per basin through December 2018, not to exceed $40,000.
Okay, now a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Item number 9, requesting approval for asphalt pavement crack sealing award from the CROG contract number 647. We've talked about going out to bid for each item. We need to do crack sealing now, and with us not having a purchasing agent, we were unable to get the bid. So we're requesting approval for this year to use the CROG bid for crack sealing. It's important that we get out there and do the crack sealing now when the weather's favorable.
Okay. Motion on this?
Move to utilize the CROG contract award number 647 for the purpose of crack sealing roadway surfaces and award the contract to A&A Asphalt LLC of Coventry, Connecticut at the unit price of $1.22 per pound with an additional 10 cents per pound discount.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Item number 10, it's time to approve the agreement with Cromwell for detention and care of impounded animals. We lease space to Cromwell for in the animal control facility that we have. The fee is $485 per month. We're asking approval to extend this contract. In exchange, they also provide us with emergency animal control officers on an as-needed basis. And currently, that's important to us as we have one person out on maternity leave.
Good. All right, motion on this?
Move to authorize the interim town manager to enter into an agreement with the town of Cromwell for care and detention of impounded dogs.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? I do see that. It looks like the dog runs are not at capacity most of the time,
Right.
so it doesn't
Yeah.
really affect us, so that's good. Okay. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Item number 11, the Neighborhood Assistance Act Tax Credit Program provides a tax credit to business firms to make cash investments in qualifying community programs conducted by tax-exempt or municipal agencies. This year, the St. Paul's Church wishes to submit a proposal for the 2017 Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Tax Credit Program. They've submitted a number of proposals, and so we're requesting approval for them and to designate the interim town manager as the liaison.
Okay. A motion on this?
Move to support the proposal of St. Paul's Church for the 2017 Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act and Tax Credit Program and approve the setting of a public hearing for Tuesday, June 6th, 2017 at 7 p.m. to discuss the proposal of St. Paul's Church for the 2017 Connecticut NAA tax credit program and to solicit citizen input.
Okay, second on that.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And second motion?
Also to move to designate Jack Healy, the interim town manager, as a liaison for the town of Berlin to handle all neighborhood assistance matters.
Okay, second on that.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sure, just ask Jack, do you have any other businesses or entities out there that have been utilizing this that you know of?
Not that I know of, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that do other churches take advantage of this, or?
In my 1 year here, no, this is the
Yeah,
first one I've seen.
Yeah, I think we've seen St. Paul
I-
before, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder why the others don't. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they should find out. Interesting, okay. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Item number 12, Medicare Enrollment Record Revalidation Application for the Berlin Visiting Nurse Association. We had this letter come in from the Medicare and Medicaid Services requiring that we revalidate their Medicare enrollment record every 5 years. Typically, it's been revalidation is done by the nursing department director. Due to the nursing department director being out at this time, we're requesting that we authorize the interim town manager and the finance director be designated as the authorized officials to complete the revalidation application, and that the clinical supervisor be designated as the contact person if Medicare has any questions.
Okay, thank you. First motion on this?
Move to authorize the interim town manager, Jack Healy, and finance director, Kevin Delaney, as authorized officials to sign the CMS revalidation application, and to authorize clinical supervisor Cindy Keene to be the delegated official contact person should questions arise regarding the application.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion number 2.
Move to authorize the interim town manager, Jack Healy, to sign the attached letter attesting to the town's responsibility in the event of an outstanding debt to CMS per Section 5 of the revalidation application.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, so that brings us to our appointments. Take a nomination for the first one in our package, nominations.
Okay, I'll nominate Patricia Checo for the Central Health District. It's a reappointment, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close that nomination. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Patricia, welcome again. Second nomination for the second position.
Okay, for the Central Connecticut Health District, I'll nominate Ray Jarima.
Okay. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations. And all those in favor of Ray?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Welcome, Ray. And our Berlin Water and Sewer, what's it called? Water Commission, Control Commission, I think, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Nomination on that?
This is for a alternate, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll nominate Liam Mitchell for the Inland and Wetlands Watercourse Commission, alternate vacancy,
Okay.
number 9, right? That one? It doesn't matter.
I think it's for the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Water
The Water
Control.
Control Commission bid.
The alternate,
I
right?
forgot to turn the page, sorry.
Right? That's an alternate position.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They're all alternates, okay. Any other nominations? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay. Town manager report.
Okay. First thing I'd like to report, we have a new hire. We have hired a purchasing agent, Marissa, and I'm going to butcher it, Solis, I believe, and she starts June 5th, 2017. She's a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Hartford, and she's worked in finance in her previous jobs. So the committee interviewed her and they recommended her, and so we're going to hire her, and she'll be starting on June 5th. Second thing, the town we've interviewed firms for a project of the town recycling center and the building facilities to upgrade the stormwater compliance, correct the street line, and we've narrowed it down to 3 firms, and we're obtaining firm proposals from those 3 firms to complete that work. The money's been set aside for a couple of years now. We need to do this. Probably include covers over the recycling bins, changes in traffic pattern there, and probably a new wash bay to come into compliance with the stormwater regulations. The business continuity group has received proposals for conducting an assessment. They are currently down selecting to 4 or 5 firms, which they will interview to continue with that project. We began negotiations for the Timberland Restaurant and Club Pro, looking at all options for those 2 contracts. So we've been sitting down and discussing alternates and what we can do as far as looking at ways to improve the town side of those contracts. The sidewalk project, which you approved, we have received a request for a public hearing on tree removal along Burnham Street. If you've come up Burnham Street and gone to Kensington, you've probably seen where we have identified the trees that have to be removed as part of the sidewalk project. As part of the tree board regulations, if somebody requests a hearing, you must conduct a hearing on the trees and then make a decision after the hearing whether or not they can be removed. We've had a request, so we'll be scheduling that hearing shortly. Also good news, Well 1B for the Water Control Commission has come online. I think you're probably aware that in the past we've had some problems with the wells on Elton Road. This is a new well, brand new well. It's come online. It now gives us the capacity between the 2 wells down there. We can go up to 1 million gallons a day with our diversion permit. We don't normally use that much out of that well field, but with that well, we now have the capacity to pump that much water. And also, just to let you know, next week is National Public Works Week.
Town hall will be closed.
We will be issuing public.
Don't they wish?
We'll be handing out pocket protectors for everybody.
Oh, boy.
Great, that's very good. Okay, thank you. Special committee reports. What do we have? Any special committees? No special committees? Okay. Counselor communications. I'd like to just start it off, and then I'll let everyone else. You mentioned Elton Road, the blighted property. Have we begun the notice on that yet?
Jennifer and I are trading telephone calls now.
Okay.
We were scheduled to have calls last week, Mayor, and I was out.
Okay, that's fine. No, I know you were sick. That's fine. I just want to make sure. I know we had talked about it, and we didn't want to do it in the winter because it's the proper time. Was now, so I just want to make sure that moves along. I had a conversation with the neighbors on both sides, and they're appreciative. We've had to revamp it a little bit and move forward. Kind of start over again, unfortunately, because it wasn't completed. But so
we'll continue
as fast as we can. Get the notice out. We would appreciate that. The housing authority. I know we were working on there was a contract. Maybe Mr. D'Onofrio. I remember we were working on something for Mr. Bajorski. Did we get that?
Property descriptions in the process of being prepared, because I don't think there was a property description for the deed or the lease. And then there was also discussion about whether a lot line revision was necessary. So Helen Riggins was involved.
So we're working on that?
Yeah.
Do we, Helen, since you're here, can you just, I'm just curious to know it has to, I don't know if Joe was going to I had talked to Joe about a month ago. I knew we were still working on it, but I haven't really heard anything since.
I can tell you that the housing authority gave us permission to use their surveyor, and Jim Mahoney has reached out to their surveyor and made contact so we can conduct a survey as part of that. So that process is ongoing.
Okay, that's correct. Cover it? Okay. No, I know you guys are working on it. I just know Joe had some deadline, I think, right? There's some other upcoming deadline, maybe.
That I'm aware of.
I want to say he told me the end of June, but I don't know if you guys
I
would
haven't
just,
had any communications from him at all.
all right.
Okay.
All right, if you could just maybe check,
Okay.
just make sure we're, we don't want to get down to the wire again on that one if we're moving forward, which it
Right.
sounds like we are, which is great. And then finally, I wanted to talk about just establishing the golf commission. I know we had talked about that. Remember, we kind of said after the budget thing, we didn't end up putting it in the charter revision. But so we would do that, I guess, Attorney Donofrio, by ordinance, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we'd have to have an ordinance committee meeting to begin some discussion on that. So, can we figure out an ordinance committee date? Maybe maybe beginning in June, I guess, at this point. We can find
If
it.
anybody, who, how's everybody?
who's on
I
it?
think I'm on it.
You're on it, Kristen. You're on it,
Yeah.
right? Okay, myself and Charlie. You guys are on it, right? Brendan?
Is
Or?
Wednesday
I think
good,
I'm on there.
the Monday?
Yeah. What days work better for you guys? If
Can we do it before our next meeting, or is
Oh.
that not soon enough?
Oh no, we could. Yeah, if you want. Yeah, if you want to do
Good
it
idea.
before the next council meeting.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Okay.
next week then. Well, we got a couple weeks actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
June 6th.
Yeah. So
6 o'clock.
Perfect.
yeah, that's good. What day did we talk about?
It would be Tuesday, June 6th, at 6 o'clock, and I'll get your room,
Oh, but Tuesday, June 6th. When's our next council meeting?
June 6th.
Oh, I see. You're doing an hour before the meeting. Yeah, I got you. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's do that. All right. Okay.
By me.
All right. Great. Thank you. That takes care of my 2 cents worth. Anyone else?
I'm good.
While you're
Yeah.
on the housing authority,
Yeah.
we had talked several times about trying to give the management of the mobile home park to the housing authority.
Yes.
And there's a building there that's a house that's deteriorating. It's going to be a liability for the town or the housing authority, whoever winds up with it. How do we start to deal with that mess?
Well, actually, John O'Brien and I had met once, and then I think John was meeting with me, and we missed a meeting on my part, so, but I had to get together again with John. We were starting that process.
Okay, what was the question again, Charlie?
How do we start the process to deal with the abandoned house and get the
I
management of the...
understand Steve Vecina, Fire Marshal, basically was recommending that the house should be torn down. It was supposed to be torn down 4 to 5 years back and got lost. But from what I understood, it was in the process of being torn down again. Right now, they do use it for basically setting small fires and containers in the building and
Practice fires. Yeah.
Maybe
That's
a bigger
not
one.
training. Yeah.
I know that basically there's black mold in the building. It's all the way down to the main structure behind the walls and everything. So it's not basically rebuildable at this point. It has to be demolished, torn down.
Right, so
And I know Joe Pajorski and myself are trying to get this up and running to have it switched over to the Housing Authority. And I know we were talking about probably putting a nice white fence in front, maybe a little gazebo where the house was, dress it all up, make a nice new sign out in front. And we'd
So
like
the
to
house
basically-
has to go. The house has to go.
Yeah, definitely the house has to go.
Are there any legal hurdles?
Yeah, that's what. How do we get the house?
How do you
going?
do that?
Yeah.
Steve Vecino was handling it at one point where Manafort had put in a bid. I want to say it was under 40,000
Okay.
to take the house down and fill it. But don't quote me on that. Steve had the figures back about 4 or 5 years ago. Manafort.
But what authority do we have to do that?
Yeah.
It's private property?
property.
Well,
Oh,
it's
it's
town.
town- it's town property.
It's town property. We own
Yeah.
the mobile home, and I guess it's the house on the corner there, right?
It's actually 292A Deming Road. It's
Okay.
a green
Came
cape.
with the property.
It came with the property, so
Yeah.
Jeff, we own it, and we wanna really. I don't think
Want to
we're.
demo the house?
Yeah, before we.
Put it out to bid?
Okay, try and transfer it over to the housing authority. We really don't.
Actually, they bought the house for the land, and then they put the 16 pads for the mobile homes on the pads.
Okay. All right, so maybe we could just put
We-
that.
We have to have a bigger conversation about that mobile home park,
Oh, okay.
which was supposed to self-destruct once everyone who originally was there moved out.
Oh, okay.
And that hasn't happened, but
Okay.
that's for another.
All right.
Another
Well,
time.
let's. So as we, I mean, the probably house has to go anyway, right? Is that?
The
I mean, the
house
house sounds like
definitely has
it's
to go.
a little bit of a hazard anyway. It's got mold and.
It's got mold.
Is it-
I also reported there's an abandoned car in the backyard with New Hampshire plates on it. It's
All
was
right,
in an
so you know
accident.
what?
So it's getting to the
It's
point
town-
where people are dumping stuff there
Yeah, all
now.
right. So it's town property. We have to take care of it. So maybe we start with the bids, and then we could talk about. Take
Yeah,
the rest of
I
it.
know what Mr.
But at
Russell was
least,
saying.
at
It
least
was-
maybe we get rid of that.
Yeah.
Eyesore.
As people passed on or moved out, the mobile home was
Yeah.
supposed to be off the pad.
Oh, all right. So we'll look into it with
Then what
Mr.
happened
Healy,
throughout
Mr.
the years is
D'Onofrio.
people were selling the mobile homes. People were moving
Okay,
in.
so that's why I think we wanted to give it to the housing authority, because I don't think the town is perhaps the best landlord, but we'll, we can figure out what we need to do.
The other
going
thing
forward.
I have not looked into is if there's any grants, low-income housing. Are we supposed to have so much low-income housing in our town?
I mean, we're under a moratorium now, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if they apply or not. Actually, we'd have to check into that as
All I
well. I
know
mean,
is-
if they are, it would help our unit count, but
There's
we'll
still
have to see.
16 mobile homes paying taxes in this town,
Yeah.
plus their motor vehicles, so we have to look at that aspect also.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. We'll do some exploration of that. We appreciate that, but let's look to. Sounds like the house needs to come down, right?
Well, we had money in the budget to remove the house. I had to go back to see whether or not we.
Yeah, it's probably not there for this
So,
coming year.
well,
but
we had $35,000, I believe, at one point as a line item.
Okay.
And I just checked to see whether or not we left that in this year's budget.
I suspect not, but
Yeah, you may want to check to see if it went into
Yeah.
non-recurring or anything like that.
Yeah.
Training
Fire,
exercise?
very good.
Contingency.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was non-recurring, but.
Okay.
Have they done any environmental on it yet? To get it
There was
permit?
some work done on it. There is some lead paint. There's mold there. It was, and that's one of the reasons the house was discontinued using it. So.
All right, so we'll explore that and see what we have to do with that to at least at a minimum keep things safe.
Yep.
And then we can explore, this potential transfer if that's the right way to go, or what happens at that park, so we understand what's going on there. Okay, great. All right, so acceptance of minutes. Motion on.
I'm sorry, do we have
Yeah.
more?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we got off track on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize a veteran that has departed our midst. Robert E. Clark of Kensington
Yes,
passed away last week.
I did see that. Yes.
Kind of
Thank
near and dear to me in the sense of he was in the Navy where I served. He served 4 years during the Korean War and was electrician's mate first class. He served 31 years of public service for the town of Berlin.
Mm.
After he moved here in 1963, he was on the Board of Assessors for 6 years, Zoning Board of Appeals for 10 years as chairman for 6, Inland Wetlands Commission for 3 years, and elected 4 terms or 12 years to the Berlin Police Commission before he finished up in 2007 with his service there. And just wanted to recognize him and grateful for all the veterans in the town of Berlin that have served and are serving currently, and appreciate those that may know Robert or his family to express their appreciation, and I express that at this time myself. Thank you.
That's great. Yes.
Can I just add, and I agree with Councilor Evans, but I got to know Bob a long time ago because of his 55 Packard Caribbean that he beautifully restored, and he was quite an expert on those cars. They were 3-toned, if you ever saw one, and his was quite nice, and he became a lifelong friend. He used to come to the junkyard, and
okay.
just a great guy, and he will be missed.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, that's great. We recognized him, and a lot of service to the town, a lot of service to our country. So that seems to be a theme with a lot of people. That's great. Our veterans. Okay. Great. Wish him and his family the best. Okay, anyone else for our comments? I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Okay, so if we can have a motion on the two
Okay,
first minutes.
motion to accept the meeting minutes from the town council meeting on May 2nd, 2017.
Second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in
good.
favor?
Aye.
And our second.
Motion to accept the special meeting minutes from May 8th, 2017.
Second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second over here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you all very much.